everybody, I'm Sky. Welcome to Volume 3 of the Northeast Mountain Bike Report. We're here at Jake's Bike Shop in Manchester, New Hampshire. Alexis, a little R&R this week, a little slacker, took a little vacation, it's all right. I'm here, I'm gonna hold it down. First up, two of the biggest events in the Northeast, and we have them both. Pedrofest Festival in Hancock, Massachusetts went off this year. First up, we went up to Jiminy Peak to check out the Iron Horse Downhill Clinic. Next up, we checked out the goodies from Fox Racing for 2008. And finally, Terry Fina, the event director, gave us some cool words. After that, we went to West Dover, Vermont for the USA Cycling National Championships at Mount Snow. The annual event went off again this year. Downhill, dual slalom, crazy action, interviews, we have it all. Stay tuned, Northeast Mountain Bike Report. Simon Lawton and Brian Bartlett teach downhill clinics all over the world. These two rippers were at the Pedrofest and we caught up with them. Brian rips it with a prosthetic leg that's like no other. Check this out.
The clinic we're doing today really focuses on basic foundational skills, and not just basic foundational skills for beginners, but the skills that even professional riders rely on at the top level to ride really fast. So what we worked on today was braking for control, body position on the bike, because if you don't have the correct position on the bike, you're going to be in a world of hurt pretty quickly. So working on the basics, getting people in the right position on the bike, talking about fundamental turning, pressuring the bike into the terrain and that sort of thing, teaching people how to roll down steep terrain safely, and yeah, just putting them in the right position for success on the bike.
I mean, really what we're doing is we're giving people downhill techniques so they can have fun with downhill. Downhill has been intimidating and scaring for a lot of people, but what Simon is doing is breaking it down mathematically and body chemistry and how to do this in a safe environment and actually have fun with the sport and not be so intimidating. With the skills that he's teaching people now, they can look at the terrain where they might have been afraid before. Now they're gonna look at it and break it down in their head with the techniques he's taught them, and they're like, I can do this, and this is how I do this.
We met through a mutual sponsor, I guess, through Red Bull.
Red Bull, yeah.
That was funny. The director in our local area, he kept telling me, oh man, I got this great guy, he's missing a leg, but man, he just charges the downhill, you gotta give him a lesson. I said, well, send him out. And Brian came out to take a lesson, and I had him ride around and do some of the things that I do, some of the drills to get in his body position in the right place. And I said, first thing I said really was, come on man, you got to stand up. Let's see you stand up. And he's like, yeah, if you didn't notice, my leg's missing and I can't really stand up because my other foot sinks to the bottom. So that was really the beginning of a big project where I just decided, we need to make a leg that he can stand on. He had some great ideas for some support tendons, and I had a lot of parts at the shop. So we went out, started digging through the parts bin. We got an MRP roller.
MRP rollers, a Dremel, and a carbon frame that we hacked up, and that was kind of one of our first actual tendon legs that we made, yeah.
Yeah, and so what we've done now is we've created a leg with rubber tendons called the Bartlett tendon. And basically it kind of mimics a human leg with the use of a knee, and there's a shock inside which isn't actually for absorption. The shock here is actually to help the leg rotate because the tendons are so firm, and that was a surprise to us. I mean, there have been a lot of surprises. We thought this was going to be a shock absorber, and it really just works to bring the leg back around. And it's been a groundbreaking leg. We've won a series of awards for it. Brian is the first AK or above the knee amputee athlete ever to stand and sprint on a bicycle, and it's not that he can just do it on the road. He can stand and sprint on off-road trails. He can stand going downhills. We were at Diablo a couple days ago, and he was booting like a 10-foot drop at the bottom and landing it like a pro, standing up. So really pretty exciting. And we've been working on this for about 4 years together now. This is about the 6th or 7th iteration of the leg, I would say.
Yeah.
And finally now, just as of yesterday, we have another athlete on who's here as well. It was just super exciting to see somebody else show up, experiencing that sense of mobility that he hasn't had on a bicycle in years. I mean, just means the world to us. It's been great.
It's like a dream come true to actually see it on somebody else and actually see them, how they feel. Jason's my buddy, and here I made him one. And he's just like, wow, this is totally great. It's increased my riding in 4 days already. And he lives out here, so he's going to be able to hit a lot of stuff, go back to where he's having difficulties before, and just hit this stuff with confidence now. And it's really exciting for us to see that come to life.
Yeah, so we want people to see that this isn't a story about handicapped people. This is the real deal. Guys like Brian and Jason, they go super fast. Don't be surprised if they're barking at you on the trail, telling you to get out of their way, because they're moving down the trail. They're riding UCI events. They're doing it just like anybody else. There's no handicap class. There's nothing like that. He's racing against able-bodied people on his able body that we've created. And that's really the bottom line. We want to change things around so that handicap athletes, or whatever you want to call it, aren't called that. We just want,
Yeah, it's integration.
Integration.
It's integration at its highest levels, and it's great.
Yeah, integrating the sciences that we have, the understandings of physics that we have, into creating body parts that actually work and mimic human parts. And that's been one of the things for me as basically a professor of human movement, because I've been teaching mountain biking for about 15 years now, that made it easier for me to help with the leg. I really understand how the body's supposed to work, and really all we're trying to do is mimic the movement of a regular human leg.
Also at Pedrofest, we met up with Nick DeLauder of Fox Racing Shocks. He was kind enough to show us the 2008 lineup of killer products from these guys. If your bike needs a new suspension part, check out this next segment.
Hi, I'm Nick DeLauder with Fox Racing Shocks. We're out here at Pedrofest. It's a beautiful day, and wanted to show you some of the forks and shocks that we brought to show off here. These are all 08 products. We'll start over here with our cross-country forks. This is a new fork for 08. It expands our F-Series lineup. It's a new 120 mil version of our F-Series fork. That's got our new chassis for 08. You could get this in 120, 100, or 80 mil versions, and they're all optimized for each travel level. So they have a different combination of upper tubes, crown, and steer to give you the strength you need at the different travel, but keep them all as light as we could get them. Then we have some more trail bike oriented products. 140 mil, you've got a float, and we also have a Talus, which is travel adjustable. Uses the Talus 2 system. It's a 90-degree sweep, 3-position lever. Makes it really easy to adjust from 100 to 120 to 140 on the fly. Great all-around fork. We've got a couple of nice shocks here, new stuff for 08. Across our whole line, we've changed our dampers. So pretty much any fork you're going to see has a new damper for 08. And what we've done is redistributed the work that the damper does versus the spring. So you can run a lighter spring pressure or a lighter coil spring, and the damper is going to do more for you. Bottom line is it gives you a more supple ride and more control, because you can tune the damper a lot finer than you could a spring. So you've got a DHX Air with a new Pro Pedal adjusting lever. It gives you min and max rather than the dial that we've had previous years. The coil is still looks the same, but like I said, it's got all those new 08 internals, so it's going to really improve your ride as an upgrade or as a new product on an OE bike. And then we've got the new RP23 for 08. It's got a new air valve design, which helps it clear a lot of the rockers on a lot of bikes out there. It still has the new for 07 RP23 Pro Pedal mechanism, but again, all the internals have been upgraded with the 08 damping technology that I was talking about. Now we're getting into some of the bigger stuff. You can see it over there on my bike. We've got our 36 line with the new 20 mil quick release. Makes it really easy to get your wheel in and out. I take my wheel in and out all the time to get it in and out of the van, and man, it's a really nice system. Not only is it easier to use, but it's going to be lighter. You lose about 100 grams over the last year's model, and it's stiffer. So pretty much the stiffest 20 mil through axle fork you can get. Then we go up to the big dog. We got the 40 RC2 here. Titanium coil spring, sub 7 pounds, it's about 6.8. 8-inch travel, you can adjust it down to 6-inch and half-inch increments, so depending on the course you can really dial it in. And that's about it from beautiful Hancock, Massachusetts.
Next up, we met up with Terry Fina, event director at Pedrofest. He talks about this year's great event, as well as giving us a history of past year's events.
I'm Terry Fina. I am the festival director. I've been doing this for a couple of years. Been involved with the festival from near the beginning. It's in its 13th year. We started up in Randolph, Vermont, Logistical reasons have moved the festival to various sites over the years. It's our first year here in Hancock, Massachusetts, in a very level field, not as much mud as in the past, and the rain gods are looking favorably on us. We've had some interesting episodes of mud in the past few years here in Western Massachusetts, making it humorous, aggravating, enjoyable, and lots of fun for everybody. Over the years, the fest has evolved with various games. The Mud Bog, which is going to take place shortly, evolved at the first festival, which was forgotten, cold, and rainy. All that was remembered was sun and fun in Randolph, Vermont in October. Hot showers made the weekend for us. The Mud Bog, however, arose out of a RV stuck in a farm field. When they dragged it out, it left 2 trenches. A handy rototiller made a little more soup, and thus the Mud Bog was born. The event was founded by the Pedrofest founders to basically put together a weekend where the consumer and the industry could get together in a trade show-like environment. They saw the industry lacking that close contact with the end consumer, and thus the Pedrofest was born. It's a weekend of fun. We've had fun competitive events. We try to avoid the racing part of it so the vendors and riders get a break so they can have a fun weekend just like everybody else. And it seems to have worked. They enjoy coming here. The vendors enjoy it. So it's been a fun-filled weekend every year. It's worked through all the problems along the way with travel, mud, rain. No snow yet, but we look forward to that.
The rest of today's show is going to focus on the USA Cycling National Championships at Mount Snow, Vermont. We have some killer downhill footage as well as interviews our crew caught out on the scene. Check it out.
I like the course. It's a little bit short for me. I prefer a longer slalom course. This one's in the 18, 19 second range. If this was double the length, I think it'd be optimum. The dirt here is awesome. The corners are really good. You can really carve some good corners, and so we're having a good time, man. I mean, racing mountain bikes with your friends, it's cool. The downhill at Mount Snow for me is a little bit over the top, man. That thing is, you just go so damn fast down that hill, and it's just straight, and I just seen too many people get carted out of here, and it just tears up equipment, and so I'm not a big fan of the downhill at Mount Snow, but I know, man, it's East Coast style, and the East Coasters love it like that, man. They like to go really, really fast, and they like the terrain to be really gnarly, but I like it to be a little more technical and where you pick your lines a little bit instead of just leaning back.
How's the season been going for you?
It's going good. I've been doing a full World Cup season as well as nationals, and missed a few nationals due to conflict of scheduling with World Cups and whatnot. But yeah, things are going good. I got one Norba victory under my belt this year, and hoping to continue that. Yeah, I mean, I've been coming here since I was really young, and it's been one of my favorite venues since I started coming here. Super rough, gnarly, fast. You know, it's a real downhill course, which is what I like, you know, not messing around up there. It's always a good time here. I always like coming here. Just like I said, it's a good venue. You know, I've had a couple victories here, and my first pro win was here. So yeah, it's always good to come back. I'm always excited. This is my second year doing all World Cups, and that's pretty much my priority this year, the World Cups. But it's been a bit of a struggle. You know, I've had mechanicals, weather's played a huge part in the first two rounds of the World Cup, and it's a struggle in points. So right now, it's, you know, my overall is pretty much shot for the World Cups, but I'm just focusing on getting a few individual results out there, and just, you know, hopefully just have a few breakthroughs. We only have one round of the World Cup left in World Championships, which I'll be going to both, and hopefully we can pull something off there.
I'm here with Ben Moody from New Hampshire. He took third in qualifying, had a little tumble in the race run, but nevertheless gave everyone a run for their money. How was the race for you?
It was fun. It was super fast, a bit scary, a little out of control. Obviously I went over that out of control point, went down. Next time I'll try and do a little bit better.
What section on the course did you go down?
In the ledges itself. Put a little bit too much out there and a little too much risk, I think.
Somebody said you were pedaling the whole way through the ledges. Is that true?
I was. I thought that was what everybody's supposed to do, is just to go faster and faster and faster.
Yeah. And you have a full-time job and you just race on the side?
I'm a ski coach in the winter, and this time of year I do a summer camp.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm pretty lucky. I get to hang out with kids year-round.
And you do cross-country as well as downhill?
Yeah, I race cross-country and downhill, which is pretty cool. Sort of a renaissance mountain biker, do it all.
Nice. And how are you doing with cross-country?
Pretty well. I've sort of backed off a little bit. I don't do quite as much because this gravity thing's taken over. It's so much fun.
And do you think that you push yourself more because it's the Nationals, it's a big race, and do you go a little bit harder?
Yeah, I put a little bit more on the line for that, definitely. But I put a lot of pressure on myself for every run. I try and go as fast as I can. And
your teammate Dawn Bork took fourth here at the Nationals. She's in her 40s. She also has a full-time job, and fourth place. What do you think of that?
I think it's outrageous. You know, she's pretty hard on herself, a little bit low in the confidence department, so this is pretty good for her, I think. She'll still think that she should have done better, even though she went super fast. And she's a quite amazing woman. She's in her early 40s, and she's still progressing in the sport and only getting faster. Sometimes when we're out taking a training run, whatnot, I'll feel like I did a section really well, and then maybe I should slow up so that we can ride together, and I'll turn around and she's right there on my heels.
And do you guys train together when you're doing cross country and stuff like that?
Yeah, we ride a little bit. We don't ride quite as much as we should because our jobs she works a little bit more at night with her job, so we don't ride as much. But we ride at Highland Mountain Bike Park together a lot and train there and do our thing. She's awesome. She's quite amazing.
I'm here with the Van Dynasty. It's what we like to call the Van Dyne family. This is Chris, Nick, and Galen. Chris is a pro downhiller, and Nick just won the semi-pros. And Galen was the one who brought these guys up to ride. When did you start riding with them, and how did you get it going?
It started back in around '85. I found out about mountain bikes, and where I live in Jim Thorpe, there aren't too many flat spots, and near the roads is kind of dangerous. We started riding in the woods right away when they were little, just starting to, you know, kids learn how to ride bikes. And
did you have them on your bike, or did you have them on their own?
Well, it started out, Chris was on a little 20-inch bike, and Nick sat on a buddy seat with me, and we'd take rides in the woods. Actually, Nick used to steer me into rocks because he liked the rough stuff.
Nice. And Nick, you just won semi-pro at the Nationals. How do you feel about that?
I'm pretty stoked. It's my first semi-pro win, so it's a good spot to uncork it. I'm pretty happy about it.
Are you going to do a lot of other races in the area or worldwide?
Definitely going to do the local regional stuff as much as I can and hit as many national races as I can. The worldwide scene, I'll do what I can to break onto that, but it's a tricky one for sure.
And Chris, you've done very well this year. I know you're overcoming some injuries, your hand, your knee, but everything's going pretty well. How do you feel about the year so far?
Well, it's been, I think regardless of results, it's always just, a dream come true to race all season and see all my friends and go to all the, all these cool spots all over the U.S. and, worldwide this year. And it's great. So I think, way more importantly than the results are the experiences and, the friendships you make along the way. So.
And how do you feel about your sons being incredible bike riders, racers?
We started coming up to the Nationals back in the end of the 80s when they were little, and they were sucking up on the autographs. And never expected we'd get to the point now where kind of the tables have turned, and now they're the ones that everybody kind of looks at and goes, wow.
Yeah. How do you feel when you're watching them?
Oh, I love it. It's such a prideful thing. It just puts me full of adrenaline. And today has been an extraordinary day. Extraordinary.
And what's the noise you make? Do it.
Bird, bird, bird.
Nice. Thank you guys very much.
So here I am again. Alexis is out on vacation. She did have a chance to catch up with event director Greg Fisher. They talked about the national championships, how they came here to the east, and what other events they have going on at Mount Snow.
I'm here with Greg Fisher, the event director at USA Cycling Mountain Bike National Race. This is the first time it's on the East Coast, so it's very exciting.
Yeah, we're stoked. It's first time it's ever been here. It's been 2 years at Mammoth, and then I went to Sonoma last year. We got it here this year. We're hoping to have it back in 2008. And after 2 days of rain, some muddy conditions,
nice.
Mother Nature's looking down on us real good today. So we have a lot of people here, a lot of vendors, and everybody's having a good time so far. So.
How are we able to get it from the West Coast to the East Coast?
I think USA Cycling was looking to bring it out to the East Coast. They brought it up to us last June after, or right after our race here when we had the Norba Nationals, and we said, yeah, we're interested, and then pretty much in a month we had it. So I think the Mount Snow's tradition, having races here for like 19 straight years, it was pretty much a no-brainer for them, and so far so good. We're having a really good time. So we got the Iron Horse Downhill Series presented by E13, and this year we added the Iron Horse Dual Slalom Nights presented by JBL. We're really excited. So far, we've had two race weekends. Our first race weekend, we had record numbers of 228 riders. The following weekend, we had 235 riders, so that beat that record. And then for our first dual slalom, we had about 70 riders out there under the lights, having a lot of fun, and we had a lot of people coming up telling us, we wish we had entered, definitely. So we're looking forward to the next one, which is in August 18th, 19th. And I think we're gonna see a lot more riders on a dual slalom course. The course is fast. The pros are finishing like in 19 to 20 seconds. Good top pros. But we're really looking to push the sport for our beginners and our amateurs out there. And those are the guys that are coming to our downhill races. Our biggest classes every time are sport and beginner classes. Female classes we need a little upping, and a little growth. But so we're really excited about that, and moving forward, we have 2 more races, and the summers. This has been one of the nicest summers I can remember in Vermont. It's been absolutely beautiful. The bugs haven't been around, other than those 2 days of mud, and everything dried out in 2 days.
What do you think about the state of gravity events in the Northeast right now? I mean, there are a lot of mountains that are opening up, like Sugar Bush, Highland Mountain, Diablo.
I think it's huge. I think we see riders from 13 individual states, all the way down to Maryland and Virginia, Pennsylvania, and Ohio, coming out from the Iron Horse Series. So I think it's really growing. all the different areas around here have really stepped it up. Highland, for example, Sugarbush has gone back to having mountain biking after I think they eliminated it a while ago. I think even you might even look at maybe resorts like Sunday River might actually be looking to open back up again. You know, a lot of the mountains this winter have changed hands, if you've noticed, and you know, some of the ownerships realizes that stuff like this really is profitable and it is a lot of fun. And we have guys traveling all over. They're just camping, hanging out in the parking lots. I love the mountain bike crowd. It's an absolute blast. You guys are all great. So,
our final segment brings us to the Pro Downhill and Dual Slalom Finals. Check out these final runs from our 4 national champions.
How close they are. Look at this, Pruitt, and look at this, Pruitt coming around hard, ways to go. Pruitt's on the road, Pruitt throwing in her hood. Oh, look at Buell go, look at Buell go, there she is, Liz. 2007 national champion, KHS rider.
The race was good. Racing all night from the beginning. Normally slower rounds for some of the riders to warm up weren't so slow on this course. A lot of the course was short, so the competition was tight and the differentials were really close, so there wasn't room for any error on this course. Been battling with Pruitt back and forth for many years, so that final win felt good. She's a fast racer, so I knew I had to go for it all the way to the end. And
Once I started going through the rounds, I knew I wanted to win it. I came up wanting to win it. Slalom, I like slalom more than mountain cross. It's you and your bike. Right. No one taking you out, no one working you out of the gate. It's just who can go the fastest. Right. So, yeah, enjoyed it. Yep. He was my next bracket. So I told the other guy it was definitely a present, but take it however you can, you know. However you can, right? I felt like some of the fastest guys were left. You know, we made it through the rounds like we needed to, and I couldn't have gone any faster.
Also a blistering run. We have a rider who's going to go 4:30s. Here comes Pruitt through the finish line. 4:37.5 for Pruitt. Wow.
It's been a couple years coming. I haven't had the best luck at one-day races in my career. So winning a one-day race is really awesome for any athlete because it's a lot of pressure on one little 5-minute time period not to completely screw up.
And what did you think of the course?
The course here in Vermont is really fast. It reminds me of a lot about the old days when I used to race motocross outdoors. Huge braking bumps. We started off the week with pouring rain. So that just exemplified the whole ruts and nastiness and grossness of the wet areas. So I think it was a really balanced course. Fast, there's route sections, there was places you had to pedal really hard, and it feels sweet to win on a course like this.
How does it feel to win?
It feels awesome. Been waiting for it for a while, so it feels really good. I pretty much knew when I came down that I would have that was a top 5 run, and I was really happy with it. And as riders kept coming down, you know, Cody Warren came down and didn't take it, which I was actually thinking that he had a good chance of winning today. So he didn't take it. I was pretty relieved. And then the one guy who really scared me was TJ Sharp, and well, all the guys scared me, but I mean TJ, Chris Herndon, Ryan Kondashoff, all of them. But Luke Strobel, when he came down, he was going so fast, and I was like, oh. And on the little board where it comes up, no one else had gone under 3 minutes, and so the first number that came up was 3, and I was just waiting for the seconds to come up, and it said 57, and I had a 55. I was like, oh, so relieved. And then I was still sitting there, and Duncan Riffle, you know, the favorite to win, was coming down, and he's been pinned all week. He's a great rider. And I was definitely nervous. And then the announcers started saying 48, 49, 50 for 348, 349, and whatever. And we didn't see him because he'd flatted. And so I knew that I'd won, and I was like, oh, I just started freaking out. So, yeah.
Congratulations.
Thanks. So I hope you enjoyed volume number 3 of the Northeast Mountain Bike Report. Jake's Bike Shop, thanks a lot, right here in Manchester, New Hampshire, for letting us host the show. Alexis, where were you? You left me solo. We'll see you next time on the Northeast Mountain Bike Report. Get out and ride.